مشاهدينا مرحبا بكم في حوارات السياق. ما زالت جلسة استماع عاصفة للمدير التنفيذي لتطبيق تيك توك بالكونغرس الأمريكي على خلفية مخاوف من اختراق صيني لبيانات المواطنين تثير المزيد من الجدل. فهل جاءت أسئلة النواب حرصا على بيانات الأمريكيين أم أن هناك تضارب مصالح؟ عموما للمزيد من المتابعة حول هذا الملف ينضم إلينا البروفيسور أنوبام تشاندر أستاذ القانون والتكنولوجيا في مركز القانون بجامعة جورج تاون والخبير في التنظيم العالمي للتقنيات الجديدة. بروفيسور أنوبام مرحبا بك معنا.
Thank you for inviting me.
بالتأكيد ربما تابعت جلسة الاستماع للمدير التنفيذي لتيك توك أو على الأقل وصلك مقاطع منها. ما سر هذا الهجوم الضاري غير المسبوق على تطبيق يتم استخدامه داخل الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية؟
So TikTok is used, of course, inside the United States, but also inside almost every country in the world, except for China. And of course, India as well. And so TikTok is a very popular app. Some 150 million Americans use it on a near daily basis. It's a very powerful app because it allows you to communicate with the world very quickly and allows you to scroll through and see a lot of material very quickly. Now, the US government is worried that because TikTok is based in China, it might be gathering data about us Americans and that it might be manipulating Americans, pushing a Chinese agenda as opposed to an American agenda.
هل هناك أدلة على هذه التجاوزات؟ هل الأمر بحق دفاع عن بيانات الأمريكيين أم أن الأمر يحمل في طياته تضاربا واضحا للمصالح ومنافسة على سوق الإعلانات؟
So I think there are concerns that it does seem like this targeting of TikTok happens to be convenient for some of its American competitors. And so I think that is a concern that I share. Because currently, the US government hasn't actually presented any evidence of Chinese government spying or Chinese government manipulation of material on the TikTok app. In fact, when I search for criticism of China on TikTok, I can find plenty of criticism of China. And so if I wanted to produce criticism of China, I could do that today and share it with the world. And I think that that criticism of China is widely available. And if China were having its way, China doesn't like criticism of the government. The Chinese government typically doesn't tolerate any criticism, not let alone lots and lots of criticism of the government.
الأمر لم يقتصر على الولايات المتحدة، الدول الأوروبية هي الأخرى دخلت على خط الأزمة. ما تفسيرك؟
So the U.S. Is alone thus far in seeking to ban or compel the change of ownership, to compel a sale of the app. India is the one other country that already did so, but it did so in response to actual physical battle between Indian troops and Chinese troops in the Himalayas in 2020. And so India got very upset with China and banned 50 apps from China and banned another 150 more shortly thereafter. So India banned a lot of apps from China, simply saying, all the Chinese apps, you're out of our country, as a response to a real physical battle where Indian soldiers died in the Himalayas. That was a very different story than what we're seeing in the United States. Europe is thinking about bans, but it's only very narrow bans that say government ministers and government employees shouldn't have apps like this. And sometimes the bans, at least in France, include some American apps as well. So the European bans are very narrow. The American, the Congress was proposing a ban for all of TikTok, including on private individuals' devices. And there, the issue of the national security secrets that individuals have seems far less likely than a government minister. If you're a government minister, it makes sense to be very careful of what apps you have in your phone and basically to exclude most of the apps that are available. But it's not so clear that ordinary Americans carry national secrets with us.
حتى أفهم منك، ما الذي يجعل تيك توك مختلفاً عن مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي الأخرى؟ هل الخوارزمية التي يستخدمها التطبيق هي التي تجعله مثيراً للقلق؟
TikTok is very good at getting you things that you might find interesting or entertaining. So it's very quick in figuring out, hey, so-and-so, they seem to be interested in this kind of material. Well, maybe they'll be interested in some other kinds of material, and we'll quickly show that, and they'll quickly go through that material. So if anyone's used a TikTok app, they know it's actually a fun app to use, and it's trying to get you material that you might be interested in. And it's very low cost in the sense of if you see something that you don't like, you just scroll past it a split second later. So the algorithm that TikTok has is particularly good. On the other hand, the real distinction between TikTok and the American apps is the ownership. The ownership is Chinese for TikTok. Ownership is American for the American, for Snapchat or Instagram or YouTube. And so those we see those as less threatening. We are more likely to trust an app because it is American owned.
ماذا عن إجابات الرئيس التنفيذي لتيك توك وتأكيده أن الشركة لن تمنح بيانات المستخدمين إلى الحكومة الصينية إن هي طلبتها؟ هل هو كاف لطمأنة مخاوف الغرب؟
So I think it's not just a statement is not enough. And I think you need to investigate, you need to test the app, and you need to make sure that they are in fact doing what they say they're doing. TikTok has proposed actually extensive safeguards to make sure that both the data and the algorithm are safe for Americans. And I think, I haven't seen the US government tell us why those safeguards that TikTok has proposed aren't sufficient. Perhaps they aren't, but if they aren't, I think the American government should tell us Americans why they aren't sufficient.
منذ نوفمبر حظرت أكثر من 20 ولاية في أمريكا تيك توك على الأجهزة التي تصدرها الدولة، كما قامت العديد من الكليات بحظره من شبكات الواي فاي. كيف يمكن أن يؤثر ذلك على التطبيق؟ هل سيواجه صعوبات مالية مثلا؟
Those bans are very, very minor. Those only refer to state devices. So some 30 states have now had bans that say those state employees, when they own official phones given to them by the state, the official phone can't have TikTok installed. Okay, and when the universities that have followed that approach have said, well, the government has told us we can't allow TikTok either on our public university devices or on our public university networks. Now, what's happened, of course, is that students have just switched over from Wi-Fi to their cellular network, to their mobile network. And so they still use TikTok on campus and apparently endanger American national security in the process.
ما قصدته بسؤالي هو أن كل هذه البروباغندا ألن تؤثر سلباً على تطبيق تيك توك؟
Well, I think it does affect its reputation. I think it's a negative, it does have a negative impact on its reputation thus far. Maybe 5 years from now, if TikTok survives in its current form, this will have proven, it will have helped show that it in fact is safe, that the government didn't have anything which showed that it was unsafe, because we didn't see any such suggestion in the 5 hours of hearings that Congress held, where they grilled the CEO of TikTok.
بروفيسور أنوبام تشاندر، شكرا جزيلا لك للمشاركة معنا في حوارات السياق.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
مشاهدينا شكرا على طيب المتابعة. إلى الملتقى.